Can You Hear Me Knockin'? Rolling Stones. Okay, let's play through all the different sections right off the top. Just jam right through them. Afterwards, I'll go back through, give you some explanation, let you know exactly what's going on. Before we get into the lesson, please help out the channel. Hit the subscription button. Be greatly appreciated. I'm coming out with a lot of videos, so you don't want to miss it. And let's get on into this. Can't You Hear Me Knockin' by the Rolling Stones. Okay, so we get this main intro riff here, and you want to get a, some heavy fuzz tone going. And we're going to start up here, 10s on the D and G, slide that to 9, come off to 7s. Alright, and then we're going to go 9s, 7s again. Come up here, we go 8A, 10D, down a fret, 7A, 9D. So it's just kind of this big scale down. Right, from there we land on the D. Okay, so this whole intro riff is kind of based around D. All right, we'll hit that, the 5 on the A with the 7s on the D and G, hit that a couple times. Come over, hit this, little blues thing, the 6th, hit that on the 9th fret of the D. Come back off to the 7s with the 5 on the A. Alright, and then we just kind of cut for a moment there. And then we're going to just kind of hang in that same area, do some more blues riffage. Okay, we'll hit the 5A, 7D a couple times. Maybe come up and hit like the 5 on the E with that. Just to give it a little bit of low to it, And then we'll hit the little blues riff again. The 9 on the D with the 5 A. Come back off to the 7D. And get the pinky way over, hit that 10. And then come back and hit the 5 on the E and the A. Okay, so just bouncing around in that little blues riff there based on the D. Okay, and this is all kind of loose feel. It doesn't have to be super exact, but we keep coming back to this little bit where we hit the 5 on the A with the 7 on the D and G, and then come over, hit that 9D back to the 7s, and then cut. Okay, that occurs a lot here. All right, and then we'll come back up, kind of like in the same area where we started. Hit those 10s on the D and G. Be a little bit different with here. We go 10s to 7s, then we go the 10 to 9. Okay, just shuffle it up a little bit. And then, of course, keep the scale down going with the 8A, 10D, 7A, 9D. Alright, and that's, of course, going to land us back onto that D. Okay, so let's try this whole sequence up to tempo here. Continuing on with this intro riff, a lot of what we saw in the first section, just a couple little different things happening there. We'll continue with that same riff, the D power chord that adds that 9 on the D, then cuts. Okay, then we essentially do that very thing we started with in the beginning. Okay, that exact riff to the same thing we started with here. The D power chord, add the 9, come back off to the D. Alright, and then a little difference now is that we come up to 9s on the D and G, and we're just going to give it like a little bend and release and come off to 7s. Okay, just a little variant there. Alright, and then back to that D power chord, add the 9 to the D power chord. Alright, and now we get that low blues shuffle here where we add that 5 on the A with it, but then we do the 9D, 10, set 9, 7, 10 on the D. Alright, and then of course back to our regular blues riff. Alright, and just to cap this off, it kind of does a little hang on the 7s of the D and G. Okay, hit that D power chord up to 5, and then just hit some 7s on the D and G. Alright, and that'll get us into our verse section there. Alright, let's go this all the way up to speed now. Okay, into the verse now, and we get that, mimic of the vocal, the "Can't You Hear Me Knocking" part, and that's going to be based around a C now, because we're going to drop down 3 on the A, 5 on the D there, and bring the pinky over, and we're going to hit, along with the 5 on the G, we're going to hit a few 7s on the B, okay, come back off to just 5s on the B and G. Then we add that 7 again, back off to 5s. Okay, just following that vocal. All right, and then we just bring up, hit that D power chord, the 5 of the A. All right, and then we add the little intro riff. All right, just jam right through it, scale it all the way down, and then land on that 5 to 3. Okay, just kind of starting back over. Okay, and of course we would add our little vocal riff. All right, and at this point, now we get to a G chord. And with this, it's just kind of a scaling up, sliding around. So 3 on the E, go 5 to 7 on the E, hit the 5A, 5D. All right, and now we got a little bluesy thing where we go 8, 5 on the A, 8 E, back to 5A. All right, and we would do this whole thing over. Okay, that C, D, C, G. All right, just like we did. Go through that 3 times, and then as we're going through the 4th time through, we do the C, D, C part, and we'll get to that G again. But once we get to that G on that last time, that's technically the start of the chorus. So, we'll start there on the next section. So let's try the verse all the way up to tempo here. The chorus starts, and like I said, it's going to essentially start on that last G that would happen in the verse. All right, and with this, you can just do more of like a full chord G if you like. All right, because we kind of want to pick through a little bit, let it ring. Do a little like hammer on open 2A, hit the open D, that type of thing. All right, and then we're going to come up and we're going to hit a F suspended 2nd. Okay, so 8 on the A, 10 D, 12 G. All right, and then just come off to a regular F by hitting 10s on the D, G, B with that 8A. Okay, bring it down to a C, and we'll want to do the C suspended 4, so just be like a normal bar chord C style here, 3 on the A, 5 on the D and G, but add that 6 on the B. And then just come off to 5s on the D, G, B for a regular C. And then finish on a G. So slowly. Alright, now we get into this interlude, solo thing happening. So the whole last half of the song pretty much. It kicks off with kind of a funky little shuffle riff going on here. It's pretty fun. We'll start here. We're going to do 8A, 9 on the D. Alright, and just want to slide that up 1 fret. So we're 9A, 10D. Okay. And then we come down, hit 6 on the B and G, slide that to 7s. Alright, cut it, and then we do this little riff, open G to 7G, 8B. Do that twice. Hit the G once more, and then just do that riff we started with, the 8A to 9, 9D to 10D. Okay, so slowly. Alright, and we would just jam through that like, handful of times. This is all pretty loose at this section. Alright, and after we go through that a bunch of times, then we do this riff. Come down and we hit 9G, 10B, and then we just slide it down a fret, to 8G 9B, back to the 9G 10B. Okay. And then from there, come up and we do that kind of same riff that we started the previous part of the interlude, the 8A 9D up to 9A 10D, and we're just gonna like go between that. Okay, just go from the 9 down to 8, back to the 9, hold a moment, and then we do 9, 8, 9, 8, 9. Okay, just kind of doing stuff like that. So let's just try this all at the speed here. The second guitar in the interlude is just kind of picking around in this D minor, D suspended second kind of thing. Just picking around, changing it, coming back to it. It's like, starts with, you know, just kind of like the main D5, D power chord parts, the open D, 2G, 3B, back to 2G. All right. And then it'll pick through like a D minor, so just add that 1 on the E with it. Kind of pick up through it. Then just lift the index to get the open E for the suspended second part, pick through that. And this is just, you know, real loose. You just pick around through those different variants of that chord, you know, to your discretion. Getting into the first solo here, we're going to do these little octave notes. So kind of keep this shape going. You know, you pick your spot on the G, go up 3 frets, and hit the E with it. Okay, just that octave thing going on. And just mess around this kind of D scale happening. Hit like a 10 on the G, hold it for a moment. And at this part, it gets real like kind of a Santana vibe, all right? So just think that too. All right, so from there, we go to 7, G, 10 on the E, slide it up to 10G, 13E, back down. Okay. And we go 5G, 7, back to 5. You know, now it'll be 8, 10, 8 on the E. Here we go down here. Keep that same vibe going. 2G, 5, 2 to open. All right, that'd be 5, 8, 5, 3 on the E. All right. So just kind of working up, coming down, going down. After that, we kind of switch to the D and B in that same style. Same octave thing going on. And we'll be at 3D, 6B, up to 5, D, 80, or 8B, 7D, 10B, 10 and 13, and then slide that up to 12 and 15. Okay. Alright, just playing around with that same D and B octave thing. We'll be at 10 and 13, go down to 7 and 10, 5 and 8, slide back up to 7 and 10. Okay, come back up to the 10 and 13, 12, 15. Bring it all the way up here, slide up to 14 and 17. Kind of pick between that 14 and 17 a little bit. Slide it up 1 fret, 15 and 18, and then pick through that a little bit. Alright, now it's a kind of a second interlude section where we're just kind of picking through some chords. Initially, we're just going to mess with this D minor 7 and an E minor, and this voicing here where will be 8E, 6 on the B, 7 on the G. Just kind of go between the E, B, E to the G. Okay, shift over to the E minor by 7E, 8B, 9G. Pick up through that. Right, we're just bouncing between those chords for a little while. Okay, and then instead of arpeggiating, we kind of switched to just strumming them for a little bit. Go between those two just like that for a little bit. Then we'll kind of add a step here. You know, we'll hit that D minor 7 same way. The E minor to the D minor 7. But now we add this E minor 7 bit, which is just like the E minor, but instead of the 7 on the E, just make that a 10. And then come back off to the regular E minor with the 7 on the E. Second solo picks up, and with this one it's more or less just basically jamming around in a D minor pentatonic. So if you know your pentatonic scales, you can just, you know, improvise on the D minor pentatonic, you know, whatever. If you want to do that, you'll probably be just fine doing that. I'll kind of show you some various things happening in the recording just to give you a vibe if you're not super solid on your pentatonics. So it'll start with something like hammer on 8 to 10 E. You know, it's still kind of that Santana vibe going on. And then we go 10 8 E, 10 B, 8 E. Hammer back on 10 8 or 8 to 10. Come on up. We go 12, 15, back to 12s. Alright, shift over here, we'll bend that 12, or do a pre-bent 12 on the G, release to 10. Okay, do the same thing again, but then hit the 12D, back to 10G. Continuing on with the D minor pentatonic vibe here, the same area here, bend that 12G, 10B, 10E a couple times, bend that 13B. Okay, go to 10E, 13B, bend that 12G, release off to 10, 12D to 10G. Okay, bend the 12G, 10B, couple 10Es, bend the 13B. And at this point we're going to just repeat this little bit where we do a couple 10s on the E and then bend that 13B. Okay, we're just going to keep repeating that for a good minute. Okay. Alright, eventually we'll get to this section where we just cap that off by doing a bend on the 13E. Hit it a couple times, release it off to 10E. 10E, 13B, bend the 12G, hit the 10B, 10E. Okay, bend, release, 12G to 10, 10 on the D, 10G. Now we'll come up, slide the up to 12B, go 10E, 13E, hit it a couple times, bend it, come back off, to 10, couple 13s, bend it, back off to 10, and just repeat that a little bit for, you know, a good section. Alright, we'll do this little section here twice. We'll bend that 13 on the E, bend it again, release it off to 10, 13B, bend the 12G, 10B, 10E, bend, release 12G to 10. Okay, just go through that twice. And then slide up to 10B, hit a couple 8s on the E, slide up 15B, we go 13, E, bend the 15 E. Alright, and a little fun thing he does here where you bend that 15 E, and then just come over and tap the 19 on the E while it's bent. Okay. Come off of it, release the 15, and then 13 on the E. Alright, now we get towards the outro here, and it's just kind of this repeating riff that kind of adds a layer, removes a layer, and just kind of shifts a little bit. But for the most part, it's the same thing. So we'll be over here on the D, we go 10, 11, 12, hit the 10G, back to 12D. Okay. And you would just repeat that for, you know, a good 8 measures or something like that. So you're ready to change, basically. And then from there, you just kind of add a little something where we hit a 10B with that 10G. Just to give it a little something extra. Okay, and you repeat that for a good amount of measures. And the next bit, same start, but now we do 12 on the G and B to 10 on the G and B. Alright, repeat that. Then we'll get to 10, 11, 12D, hit a couple of 10s on the B and G. Okay, small difference there. And just finish it by doing 10, 11, 12, and then we go 12 to 10, kind of like that third section that we did. Alright, so just, you know, repeat these arbitrarily, you know, switch them out whenever you feel the need. Alright, now we get this ending riff. Okay, you can drop down, we'll be at 5 on the A, hit the 4D, 5A, 5D, 5A, 7D, so just kind of scaling up that D in the midst of hitting the 5A. Alright, and once we hit that 7D, we come over, we go 7D, 5G, 7D, 5, 7 on the G. Okay, so slowly. Okay, you just repeat that, you know, a handful of times till you're ready to end the song. Thanks for checking out the video, everybody. Like it, share it, leave a comment. It's always good to hear from you. Do me a favor and hit the subscription button. I put out a video pretty frequent, so you don't want to miss out on that. Check out the links in the description box below. I have really cool links for tablature books, all the gear I use, t-shirts, fun stuff like that. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.